Welcome back, everybody. So today is actually not a recipe, but I'm still in my kitchen because today is about food storage. So it is around 90 degrees out here in Maine with a crazy high humidity. It is really warm. And I'm noticing a lot of my vegetables and fruits wilt and overripen really fast. And I've done this for now 2 years, this cool little hack I'm going to show you with a few different ingredients. And, well, let's get right to it. I can explain what I'm doing. So you probably already do this when your bananas get ripe. What? You take them, you cut them up, put them in a freezer bag, put them in the freezer, and then when you want to make that smoothie or the nice cream, they're all ready to go. I do that every single morning. But today's not about bananas. Today is about doing that same sort of thing with other ingredients. So, spinach. This is something I use quite a bit, and I kind of like how it works from the freezer to the pan when I cook it, because I'm always cooking my spinach. I generally don't eat a lot of raw spinach unless it's a salad mix or such I might buy, and it stays for much longer. If I kept this in here for 5 days, it's going to start getting wilted and get that sort of vinegar smell, which I'm sure we all know smells like rotting vegetables, and that's not a good thing. So this is one of the things I love to freeze. Next thing, a very important ingredient in all of my smoothies, cilantro. Ooh, I love the smell of that as well. And this already a little wilted just from the grocery store. So I'm going to have to prepare this. I'm going to cut this up small, and I'm going to show you how I do this and freeze this, get this ready. Ginger, another favorite ingredient of mine for my smoothies in the morning. I use this in tandem with this, as well as turmeric, which I actually don't have right now. And I cut this up into pieces, and I put these in all a bag once they freeze, but this is really important. And then the very interesting thing, I guess I've never seen any other, at least vegan YouTube channel for recipes do, is I cut up the green onions into small pieces. I freeze these, and whenever I have to cook something, I throw some on. So we're going to be preparing these as well. So, not a cooking show, but a good way to take care of your vegetables and, yeah, make them last. So here we go, preparing the spinach. I always like buying these large containers of it, and I just take it out. It's already pre-washed. Just grab a bag, and it probably takes about 2 of these bags, these freezer storage bags, and I just fill it in. Take little handfuls, and I'm always looking to see if there's any wilted pieces. I generally like having these clear containers that I buy this stuff in so I can look at it to make sure nothing's wilted. And then, yeah, throw it in here. And once it's in this frozen state, there I go, compressing the bag to make sure I get the air out. Once I get in the frozen state, it's like so much easier just to throw this into anything I'm going to use. I don't know, maybe it's just the storage organizational side of me. I kind of like being able to take things and compress their size down, make it much easier to work with. Plus, I mean, I have so much freezer space, and I have very limited refrigerator space till I can buy something nice that's much larger to give me a lot more space. Yeah. And recycle. Cilantro time. This is kind of like a bounty right here that I was able to get these 2 giant stalks of cilantro. Well, multiple stalks. Here's my vegetable cutter. And I'm just cutting the stems off, which I'm going to be putting into my compost heap. I guess I could probably do something with those stems. I probably could still cook with them, but yeah, since I'm really not doing a lot of cooking with this, I'm just basically using this raw in my shakes in the morning. Some stems will get in, but most part I just take these off. Also probably find that it'll get rid of the soil that might get into thing, because I am going to wash everything here, but sometimes I just can't get it out of the stem so much. Because originally I just kind of threw everything in a bag. All right, all washed. Time to put it inside of the bag. In this case, I'm actually going to put it all in. I could chop it all up, but here's the thing. Once it's frozen, it breaks very easily. So then I can form it into smaller bags for everything I'm actually going to put in the smoothie. It's easier too to kind of fit everything in. I always try to use as few bags as possible, unless I find I have enough to put everything in. And of course I'm washing these bags afterwards, which I will tell you pretty soon. Compress and seal. Great. And yeah, showing off the knife that's really sharp and I'm afraid of. I've previously washed this, so it's clean. I'm just cutting off some of the darker parts where someone originally cut it and it kind of like, I don't know, crusted over. Otherwise, it's looking good. Got a little piece out there, and I'm good to go. I love the smell of ginger. I love the taste of ginger. I like it in meals. Between this and turmeric, I mean, that would be something I would use supplements for, and I have used in the past. But I just find this is like just great to put into everything. I mean, not just the flavors. I mean, the health benefits are countless. You can go YouTube or Google turmeric and ginger and find everything. So I like slicing this up. Before I just sliced it up prior to putting the smoothies, and it worked out all right. But I find if it's frozen, it's easier if I pre-cut it. If I cut it and I keep it in the refrigerator, it still kind of goes bad faster, and also gets to a little bit of the sort of crusty, oxidized, I guess would be a look to it. And in the freezer, now if that happens in the freezer, I don't really notice it. Plus, having everything frozen and you put it together with water to make a smoothie, it just makes the smoothie much more thicker, and I'm not adding really anything to thicken things up. The protein I do use, which, yes, is reflected in the t-shirt I'm wearing, it doesn't really have any thickeners. I don't believe. I've looked into it. And I'd rather just get the thickness from ice. So yeah, try to scoop them all in. This is a nice reinforced bag. Squeeze it, get it out, and that's good. Now, no, I'm not putting these into smoothies. I think that would be absolutely horrible. But I do use this in a lot of the stuff I cook. So all I'm doing here is I'm going to be getting these things ready. I'm going to be washing these. Before I do, I'm going to cut off this part, which I don't use. Although I'm going to figure out there's probably something I could use with that, like growing more. And here in a very quick edit, I'm going to be chopping these up. I just cut them up pretty small, just like I would be using if I'm going to stir fry something or use it as a garnish. And actually, this was the first vegetable, aside from spinach, that I did this with. Just freezing everything, because it just became the fact that I would get some and I would use it as a stock, and I'd take a little bit at a time, and then maybe 3 or 4 days would go by, I wouldn't use it, and find it to be all wilted and brown and just not something I wanted to eat. So I said, well, if I could freeze it, and no, I'm not finding this in the supermarket where I can actually buy frozen green onions. The other onion seems to have a monopoly on that. And frozen spinach is actually not as good as the frozen spinach that you can make just from getting the fresh spinach and freezing it. It seems some companies let a lot of things kind of slide, and the spinach I get is not going to have all these stems and everything, and some other parts that, a giant factory machine is not going to select specific. So, yeah. So after about a day, you're going to hear that jingling sound of everything being frozen. Here's my frozen spinach. Perfectly able to break up. I can put it a little bit amount in meals. I can sprinkle it over things. And I think a lot more manageable in this state than the other one. Here is my cilantro. Not a lot in here, but yeah, I have a little bit left. This is an old batch. But here's the thing, it could be months old. And yet, it's going to taste like it was just picked. I did this earlier with some turmeric about a week ago, before the place where I got it ran out. This is my ginger. And of course, you probably have this in your own freezer. This is just one banana cut up, but I have a whole bunch of them. So sometimes I will take some banana, I'll freeze the banana, and I will take bits of everything else I put in my smoothie into the bag with the banana so I can just throw it all in the morning. I don't mind having them separated right now. That's going to be an extra step. And for those that are wondering, do I throw these bags out or recycle them after? Actually, I wash them and I dry them. Some of these bags are a year old. I use them until I can't use them anymore, then I just recycle them. So, reuse, recycle, do what you can, right? So, if you don't mind me, I'm going to put these back in the freezer. I'm going to go take the clippings of the other ones, put it in my compost heap, and next time I see you, I should have a recipe. Hopefully with some of these. See you later. Please subscribe.